if we move to a 4-day work week, and I mean, 4 8s, not 4 10s, fine, I'll have a kid.
Welcome to the Real and Relatable podcast. This is AJ.
My name is Cash.
I'm Ma.
So ladies, I saw on my feed South Korea. They're stating that they're going to move toward a 4-day work week. And I was thinking, why the hell are they doing that? And why aren't we doing that?
Okay.
In the US. I've also talked to friends who are from Korea and they've now moved to the US. And, they do talk about how their work week is very long. So it'll start pretty early and then they'll last until evening, like 8 or 9 p.m. And so I'm just thinking even though they do dedicate themselves for a longer time period, we also work pretty long hours too, right? Do you guys find yourselves?
So can we agree that the Korean culture, traditionally, South Korean culture, is really intense work hours, similar to Japan, correct?
Yeah,
traditionally.
Yeah.
Similar. I think that we do, but it's not on the same level. It's not on the same, it's not crazy where you see articles about Japanese people falling in the train stations because they just worked without sleep for that many hours and knock out.
When I went to go visit Japan, we were getting off the subway station and I tell this story all the time, and it was like probably 7 or 8 p.m.
Okay.
And there's this old man that was walking towards his house and he gotten off the subway, but he had fallen asleep and he was walking all weird and swervy. And luckily there was rails right there.
What?
He could have fallen into the subway. Yeah. And I just was like, oh man, I should go and stop him.
So you can tell he's sleepy or is he drunk?
Yeah, he was sleepy. Okay. No, he wasn't drunk. But he was sleepy. You could tell he was sleepy. He was walking, but it was just so, it looked like he was going to fall asleep. And luckily the train, you could hear the train whoosh by, a nice jingle song that they happened for the subway. And he woke up and then he then walked and then he was fine.
Okay. So he's just overworked and tired that he fell asleep.
Yeah. And that was 8 p.m., the travel time too, So I was like, wow, I'm kind of happy that we live in the US too, where we kind of are like, bye at 5 o'clock or 5:30.
I don't know, but I mean, we're all employees. And we don't work our standard, 40 hours a week. We typically work more than that. I assume most salary people.
But I feel like it's more flexible. I feel like
it's more flexible.
Right? More flexible.
Yes, we do have a culture where, if it's 5 o'clock and you clock out, no one's going to come after you, right? No one's technically supposed to come after you. But maybe in the South Korean culture, it's like, okay, well, if the boss is still working, it's kind of like inappropriate, or you really can't
for you to
leave.
go home first.
So you'll have to wait until your boss leaves before you can actually leave.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but based off of the statistics, it sounds like that's true.
Yeah.
But then not only that, but they also have the culture of, what we consider a happy hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not, our happy hour is always optional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ours is always optional, but I think maybe they have more of a pressure to attend those happy hours all the way late into the night and then still get up in the morning and go to work.
And it's because their managers are attending those happy hours.
But how do you define happy hour? Because in America, happy hour is just a bunch of coworkers going out for happy hour.
That is it.
But like over there, I feel like, according to my impression, based on what I see on K-drama,
not reality.
It's more than happy hour. There's a lot of work events after hours.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, Kim is leaving for a next job. Let's go and wish her well. Everybody's going.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's not just like, hey, let's go hang out and drink. It's more than just buddy. In America, I feel like it's buddy.
Yeah. When I was talking
to my Korean, your boss is telling you to go.
When I was talking to my Korean friends, they said it was mandatory that they felt like they had to go to these functions because the manager would look down on you if you didn't show up. And so you had to show up until they were done or they were drunk and they were heading home. Yeah. Then you can head home. So it is kind of mandatory because
pressure.
Yeah. There's that extra pressure.
I've never had any mandatory happy hour. It's always been optional.
Me neither.
Of course I don't. Of course I do feel the pressure to attend because, I'm in a, based off of the department that I work out at. And, I'm more of my role is more like a people person. So I do feel a little bit of a pressure to attend.
Represent, show face.
I think that if there was the culture where I had to go, or if you hear in the office space, like, oh, this manager wants you to go and you have to go. If you don't, then they kind of will treat you differently, retaliation.
Or even if you're just looking for a promotion, you want to be the person who's like, yeah, I'll be there.
Exactly. So like if it's those type of reasons, then I feel obligated to go, or I have to go, right?
Yeah.
But if it's kind of like I'm happy in my job and everyone's cool, then I don't really care to show up to them, you know.
What about you guys? Do you feel pressure?
I did have a manager who worked in office.
Okay.
And it's not happy hour because, like they all have a bunch of kids, so they don't go. But I did feel pressure when they invited me for lunch.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm just like, I don't really want to, but I did feel pressure.
Okay.
I felt like I didn't want to be that antisocial, one odd person who's not cliquey and who's not a part of the crew, But then I typically didn't go.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm like, I'm going to work through lunch. I'm going to skip lunch, so I didn't really go.
Yeah.
I go. People ask me. I'm a people pleaser, apparently. But I think even with the reason why South Korea is kind of moving towards this 4.5 day work week is so that their employees can spend more time at home with their kids. And
there was an article because
right?
I was so interested in that. Why did they do that change? Is because they wanted to create a work-life balance. And me, I'm the queen of work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I love that for them, because you do want to spend time with your family, or if you just want to chill and vegetate at home, you're able to do that.
Jeju, if you're a silver worker, then if you have a child who's 2 years old or around that time frame, they do require you to work from home once a week.
Yeah, that's
which is
nice.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it depends
definitely
on the kind of job you work though, because if you're an elementary school teacher, you can't do that even if you have a kiddo at home.
Correct. Maybe. I mean, I know that when we did have COVID, right? A lot of the teachers did stay at home and they then taught the kids
via
electronically. Via iPad.
Okay.
And I think that that's still kind of being implemented in maybe in the high schools where a lot of the kids are going online now and that they're still getting taught by a teacher from online.
Yeah.
So I think that that's still being kind of implemented too.
Okay.
And I think that that's a great work-life balance as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think they can also implement that in the States. But because, I think not only do Japan and like South Korea, do they work a lot of hours, and the US does too. But you see Europe, they get siesta, and I want siesta too. Okay,
hell yeah. European countries are like the kings and queens of work-life balance.
Yeah. And I know I want to take a nap at 3.
Yeah.
So like,
but then the question also is like, well, they do typically get paid less, right?
Yeah.
So are we willing to take less pay for a more work-life balance?
And better benefits though.
But I would say I wouldn't. I'll keep my hours.
But yours is a little bit more flexible, right?
Yeah.
I think you're able to work from home as well.
Yes, I do have that flexibility.
Yeah, I think Korea ranks not so high on productivity.
Yeah, exactly.
So
what are you guys doing?
I was thinking, well, if you're working more hours
drinking.
and you're not as productive, is it because your networking events count as worked hours?
Yeah,
you're not actually busting, on the computers making things happen.
Yeah.
I think I'd be interested to see what work hours they're counting. Like, are they just counting straight like in the office work hours, or are they counting like all of the extracurricular activities that you're doing afterwards?
I think
because if you're counting all those hours, I would say yes, your productivity would go down drastically because that takes up a pretty good chunk of your work day as well.
Yeah.
Well, not really work day because it's after hours, but I mean, I guess you kind of have to see like the numbers change, right? If you're going to go to a 4-day work week, you really have to be able to see that productivity is going to be increased, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with work from home, right? When people transition from work from home to in office, did productivity go up or down? People say it's up. But then now people are saying it's down.
I was reading some research too on the side that stated that typical work is like logged about 6 hours. You're actually focused for only really 6 hours doing actual work, in a work day. The rest is just like you kind of putzing around in between talking to your coworkers, having meetings, eating lunch. Like,
why'd you say meetings like this?
Because, some people they meet and then they don't really have the meeting, right? It's like they just talk, and they just catch up on life, right?
Yeah.
And so, I feel like that is kind of like the good number is the 6 hours logged in where you're actually focused and getting work done. Yeah. And then the rest, you're just putzing around and just talking to people, water cooler talk, right? Yeah. Is what they're saying.
So, I don't do that. I'm antisocial.
Yeah. I don't do that either. I'm like, can we get to the point and then go?
Yeah.
But I think it's a good move for South Korea considering they're the lowest birth rate in the world. I think it's a good move for our government to start to embrace this work-life balance so that people do feel more supported in regards to starting a family and having kids. Because that's what they're tying into, right?
That's true. Low birth rate.
I think you said that the purpose of it was to create more time for love and increase the population.
Yeah, exactly. Family time.
Relationships.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. Because instead of having affairs at work, right?
What? Where'd that come from?
With their work spouse.
With their work spouse. Right, yeah. So then you can go back home and you can actually spend some good quality time with the person you really love and care about that you choose. And then you can have babies, or have a higher quality of life outside of work, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think you just start to take care of errands. You start to take care of responsibilities.
And you have more time to spend together.
You guys can actually go to the other room and just be like, hey, what are you doing for lunch? Or what are you doing for dinner? And this is the person you really wanted to share a meal with, opposed to when you brought your own lunch, and then you sat with your coworkers and you get to smell the stinky fish, or the other smells that people are so annoyed with, or you are afraid to make that stinky fish, right? Then you're afraid that the coworkers are going to
I like fish. You leave stinky fishes alone, okay?
But you
sorry, fishes isn't a word,
right?
Yeah.
So I think that was just cutting that part out where it was kind of stressful with kind of mediating other people, other coworkers.
Yeah.
Like that really helped, like that made my stress levels go down. Yeah.
And even if you get off early on a Friday, sometimes it makes all the difference because you can start your road trip and be like, hey kids, we're going out of town, so you start early.
Very true.
And it just makes it more doable versus getting off at like 7, you get home 7:30 and then you're so tired and you just, you don't have that extra oomph.
Or even health wise, right? I was stressed about asking off the PTO for like doctor appointments or dental appointments. And I feel like with your full day off or your half day off, you can start making those appointments and not feel like
taking care of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And your kids.
Exactly.
Or your elders.
Exactly. and not worry that you're going to stop productivity. Exactly. Or your boss isn't scrutinizing that you're always taking PTO off for your doctor appointments. It was really great just to be able to go to my doctor appointments on the day off and focus on my health,
That's true.
Yeah, I think that was a benefit as well,
Okay, I never had that problem, but that's because I have a much more flexible job.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. People who work, they're essential workers where they have to be face to face, whether it's in the doctor, nurses, or teaching, or like bank tellers, or anything like that. If they're short staffed, they can't really leave to go for their chiropractor appointment. And they feel like a jerk leaving their coworkers hanging, or their bosses give them the stink eye.
Yeah.
And so there's this thing where you just feel like you don't want to cause that shift where there's conflict,
Yeah.
But you're right. For people who are flexible like me now, like the people that I help manage, I'm like, do whatever you want. You have doctor's appointment, just put on my calendar and take care of your coverage.
Yeah.
It's flexible. But some realm of line of work is not flexible.
Yeah. My job particularly wasn't very flexible at that time because my boss stated that if we needed to take PTO, we needed to find somebody to fill that gap.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
convenient.
Yeah. So I think that's why you feel that intimidation.
You put yourself on hold.
Yeah, you have to put yourself on hold because you rather work that full shift.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to find somebody and inconvenience your coworkers who have their time off, I
would say the 4-day work week would be great, not just for families, but I think just for everyone in general and their mental health.
Yeah.
And maybe it will encourage people to have more kids or, start a family, get into relationships because they do have time for it. Because I will say, our or Saturday and Sunday. I mean, by the time you log off on Friday, it feels like Saturday already. And when you get to Saturday, it feels like you have to already start getting ready for the work day, you know?
And by the time it's Sunday, you feel like, I thought today felt like Saturday for me, but tomorrow's Monday.
I think that's why the Generation Z right now, they're having problems in trying to even like want to work as long hours as we do too. You know, a lot of their complaints is that they don't want to work that many hours, you know, for what?
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's what I was going to say. Because you know how we're like, we have the mentality of, we don't want to take PTO off because, you know, we don't want to take too many days off. You know, I feel like that's a millennial mentality, not necessarily a Gen Z mentality.
That's true.
Because I feel like if they want to take the day off, they're going to take the day off.
I'm going to prioritize my mental health. Like, you're right.
Because they're all about mental health.
Some generations are like, I'm going to take the day off. Watch me.
Because there was that girl who didn't want to attend a 8 a.m. meeting because I think her work day starts at 9, and I think she had she had a workout class at 8, so she didn't want to skip her workout class, so she didn't want to attend the 8 a.m. meeting. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I think as a millennial, I'd be like, I gotta cancel my workout class. I can attend this meeting, you know. Whereas I think the Gen Z is probably like, no. My health is important.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go.
That is a big move right now for the Gen Z is that they only are choosing relationships that are going to help their mental health. And they're just going to choose jobs that are going to help them with their mental health. Like it's very mental health focused.
But then other generations might be like, do they like work ethic?
I don't know.
Well, I think that's the question, right? Is like,
it's different.
What is the impact?
Perspective?
Is it work ethics or going down, or have we always just worked ourselves?
Or have we always never prioritized our own health?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we're the generation after the boomers, right? Kind of. So the boomers were actually different too, because the boomers were really dedicated and they only worked from 9 to 5, and you know that they're making sure they have their pension, everything like that.
Yeah.
And you're dedicated. You really didn't have doctor appointments that you would go to. I mean, they didn't really care about their health as well. You know, that's why a lot of them became ill too. But like for us, like us millennials, we're really also trying to find that balance, the millennials.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Generation Zs, we're intentionally
gonna
choose.
No.
We're going to choose our mental health. Opposed to we're going to try to work on it, you know, like try to find a work-life balance. It's like, there's no work-life balance. It's just, it's my mental health balance, you know, it's about me. Yeah.
I mean, they should implement a 4-day work week for the States. I mean, maybe that'll help a lot of millennials maybe get healthy and take care of their mental health and their health in general, you know, because I feel like it has to be forced upon our generation in order for us to do it. We're not going to just do it ourselves.
I think it's really hard.
It's a self-inflicted guilt sometimes. But it's easier said than done because even, you know, from the articles that I read, you know, in South Korea where they're implementing sector by sector and area, there's a talk about imbalance, right? Some government workers might have it. What about private sectors? And if they're not enforcing it, the article was talking about how it might create a bigger divide between people who do and people who don't get the 4-hour work week. And how's that going to look? You know, how are people going to feel? So if we implement that in the US, then it's just like, there's a lot of things that has to be thought through.
Yeah. I mean, like if they think about people also, if we think of hierarchy, like definitely the CEOs and the higher management are working from home or are not working full 40-hour work week, you know? And then the ones who are pushing it, doing productivity, everything like that, we are dedicated to the 40 work week and then more, you know, salary. And so I feel like there's a discrepancy also. So there's the culture of where they're saying you need to work more, but they can go ahead and not work those many hours, you know? I don't know. I just feel like there's a hypocrisy, right? Like about that, you know, it's like they're telling us to push and move and work more, you know, while they're having the nicest work-life balance. They're actually probably like the Gen Zs, you know, where they're choosing.
They're the real Gen Zs.
Yeah, they're the real Gen Zs, right? Because they're choosing family, they're choosing their wellness before work.
I mean, but it depends on how far up the hierarchy you're talking about. It really depends because, you know, I do work like 10, 11, 12 hours sometimes. And maybe I'm getting screwed over because I'm getting paid more. And I have those days where I if I'm having a hard day, I could take it easy. So sure, I have flexibility.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm like sending out emails at 7:30 p.m. still.
Yeah.
You know, to my team and stuff. So I've never really broken it down and done the math and see, am I just really getting paid as much as my team for what I work?
Yeah.
Because they clock out at 4:30. They're out.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
Same. I clock out at 5. I'm out.
Not me.
No, I'm not doing anything beyond that unless I have to, unless I need to.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll come in earlier if I have to, but because, you know.
But then you travel. So it's like, sure, those are perks. But then when you're traveling, you're not getting paid for sitting at the airport.
Yeah, I do.
You get paid for it?
Yes, it counts as your work. You're traveling for work.
Yeah, you're traveling for work.
Oh, okay. So you're traveling during work hours.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed to get paid for traveling.
Oh, okay.
They pay me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we're traveling, and mileage if I'm driving somewhere.
I actually pay to travel myself. They don't pay me.
Really? If you're going to work, travel?
They don't give me a budget, so I go by myself. They don't require it. I do it just to.
But you're just doing it.
I'm just doing it.
Okay. It's not recruiting. Okay. No, I'm not going nowhere unless I get paid.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to go meet the team on my own dime an hour.
No,
I did.
You can add it to my salary and I'll do it. But no,
like trainings and stuff like that. If it's out of sight, then we go and we have to pay. They'll pay us for mileage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to travel after 5 o'clock, but if it's during the workday, that makes sense.
No, sometimes even when I travel on Sunday, I mean, I'm salaried, so it doesn't matter. But if I travel on Sunday, that's still considered workish.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is if you're spending your Sunday traveling, then you're doing more than clock out at 4:30.
No, then I'll be early on Friday. Yeah.
So you're flexing. Yeah, definitely.
I'm flexing. Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that flexibility. I mean, not saying that I'm such a hardcore person, like 5 o'clock, like those TikToks, like they're still talking, hang up. You know, I'm not one of those people. But but yeah, I mean, if my day's done and I really don't have anything that's really that pressing that can wait until the next day, I am gonna be like, bye, you know. But of course, there's gonna be times, there's busy seasons where I'm in earlier, work later.
Yeah.
But for the most part, no, I try my best to keep it pretty. 5 o'clock, I'm out of there. My boss is gonna watch this and be like.
No, but that's not bad. Well, why do we feel guilty about leaving on time?
Exactly.
That's the thing. I feel guilty if I clock out before 5 or 5:30. Because it's my own problem. I've gotten used to clocking out at 6:30. So I feel guilty. If I leave at 4:30, I don't even allow myself.
Okay, I feel guilty because my boss works really hard. Okay. So
there's that added pressure, right?
Yeah.
But your boss works really hard, but it's not like you don't work hard.
Yeah, I know, but she's there late, so I feel like I should be there late too. Yeah. It goes back to South Korea, they don't want to leave until their boss leaves. I kind of sometimes feel that same way. Where we have a 3-hour time difference, and my 5 o'clock, and she's still sending me emails. That's 8 o'clock her time. Makes me feel like,
and you're like, bye.
I makes me feel like maybe I can stay another 15 minutes.
15 only.
At least until her green circle goes away.
Because it's like 8 o'clock there. She's still sending me emails. So I'm like, oh,
I could see that, how it could give you unspoken pressure.
Yeah. But if they do a 4-day work week, I'd be like, I don't work tomorrow.
But okay, so if we did have that, if we did move forward how would you guys fill your time? What would you guys do?
I would start another business.
There you go, right?
But then that defeats the purpose.
It does, but then you'll get to do something you're passionate about, right? So that fills you up too, right? It's not like it's grind, like grinding work, right?
I will do exactly what I'm still doing today. Nothing. So I don't know.
You're not flexing.
I don't know how beneficial. But I will say, because I know I only have 4 days in the office, I will definitely be on top of my shit.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not on top of my shit. I mean, sometimes I'm not. But, but because I have such a shorter work week, I need to make sure that things get done.
Productivity.
And things get done on time.
True.
now I have a 3-day gap versus a 2-day gap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true. Especially when I'm leaving on PTO, sometimes I'm always trying to make sure everything gets aligned and clean. And then I can just be like, everything's ready and set for you now. And I can just go peacefully with no drama.
Yeah.
You know, like that is, I think that if we did move into a 4-day work week, how focused would that be? I think that would be really focused and you would get a lot of shit done.
I wonder if people might get more burnt out.
I think we'll hit a plateau.
You think so?
I think we'll hit a plateau and then we're going to want Mondays off too. We're going to want a 3-day work week.
I mean, come on. They said within 6 hours you can get work done. Yeah. So do we really need 40 hours? You know,
it depends on your line of work too, though.
Yeah.
But it's like it's people used to work. Some people work all the time. Or some people work 7 days, right? But then 5 days. I'm sure this is the plateau.
Yeah.
And if we do 4-day work week, I'm sure it's going to hit a plateau.
So
probably.
So I was thinking about that earlier. If we do, Korean article said, work longer hours, but work less days in a week.
Yeah.
Longer hours, though, might be more difficult depending on what you do for work, right?
True.
So it's like, remember when we were in college, and you go to class only for 55 minutes, 3 days a week, or an hour and a half, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
They try to spread it out, right? And you choose what you want. I remember, everyone's different. I remember I got better grades when I went to the class that was 4 hours every single day for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
J-term. When I went to J-term and it was concentrated, I was better because I diagnosed myself with ADHD. So I think that's because, that's why I did better. But my point is, if we do concentrate and jam pack it for some people in certain industries, they might get burnt out. And especially Gen Z. What if they're already like, hello, my mental health, I'm going to my appointment. I don't care what you say. Bye. So that could introduce certain conflicts too with the different generational work ethics and line of work. They might suffer more.
Oh yeah. I would. Especially the Gen Zs if they're choosing life.
I don't know. We moved to a 4-day work week, and 4 8s, not 4 10s. Fine, I'll have a kid.
In that case,
she's looking for baby daddy.
In
that
case, I will have more time. So I will.
You won't have an excuse to be like, I'm busy doing work. I'm now busy and doing other things.
Now I got an extra day. I was like, all right, I can take this.
Yeah, now you can probably find a husband, and maybe the husband will probably be able to find you, right? You guys have Fridays off. Maybe you'll run to each other in Trader Joe's. Or they said that right now, your probability of meeting somebody at Costco is higher than meeting somebody on an app.
I hate going. Have you ever gone to Costco by yourself? It is so chaotic and stressful.
I have my RBF on. I'm like, I can't stand these lines. I'm like, this traffic. Why is the person so slow in front of me?
Yeah. Well, they're saying Trader Joe's. They're saying Trader Joe's between the hours of 6 and 9 are really hot.
PM?
Man.
AM?
Yeah, PM.
Oh, weird.
So if that's where you ladies want to go.
That reminds me of your story.
Yeah.
My grocery story.
Yeah, where you're like, someone's asking you, don't I know you from somewhere? And you're like, why is this guy talking to me?
Yeah. If I knew that I was going to get hit on, or that was a time where I was going to meet somebody, I would be ready. The hair would have been done. And he would have been like,
and you'll be friendly to everyone.
I would. Any guy that approached me at the grocery store, I was ready. I'd be like, putting my noodles. I was like, oh yeah, hi. Maybe we do know each other.
All right, fine. I'll switch my grocery shopping up. I usually go in the morning because, by the time you get there at the end of the day, most of the stuff is gone.
Yeah.
So you have to go in the morning to get the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You're serious though. You're very focused. You're just like,
oh yeah, my groceries. Yes.
You might not even see the man.
Yeah. That's what he could be talking to me and I don't even know.
You're just like, I just have my list. I need to go through this.
I'm like, I'm gonna make this with this and this with this. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
I got time.
Yeah. If we had that Friday, you would go grocery shopping.
Off, I will have time.
You're looking cute.
Yeah.
Show up at 5, at 5 p.m.
Yeah. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Shop for an hour, pick up your man.
It's for the future of the youth of America. Give us Friday off.
Your future babies. You guys want future babies by Ma.
Population.
Yeah, the population.
Not by anyone. But yeah. But yeah, anyways, that's all I gotta say about that.
Cool. Well, that was a good discussion, ladies. Thank you so much. I think that we had some fun time discussing about how it would look like. And I feel like there should be a big push for a 4-day work week.
I would vote for it.
Yeah,
I would.
I think a lot of us vote for it. I mean, definitely you could take a longer vacation. Anyways, if you guys like our content, please like, subscribe. So we hope to see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.